Hey there, future hairstylists. Welcome to your ultimate study guide podcast for the hairstyling test. We're here to make studying actually fun and way easier than cramming from boring notes. Today, we're diving into some key topics from your test answers, and we're going to use memory tricks and mnemonics that'll stick with you way better than just memorizing facts. So grab your headphones, get comfy, and let's turn this study session into something you'll actually enjoy. Trust me, by the end of this, you're going to feel so much more confident about that test.
All right, let's jump into question 1. What do you call one oblong followed by a row of pin curls? The answer is a ridge curl. So what makes ridge curls special? It's all about that combination. You've got an oblong shape and then pin curls lined up in a row. Here's a super easy way to remember this. Ridge equals row. Both words start with R, right? So whenever you think ridge curl, just remember it has rows of pin curls. Now here's a fun fact that might blow your mind. Ridge curls were huge in vintage hairstyles from the 1920s through the 1940s. Think old Hollywood glamour, flapper girls, all that classic elegance. And guess what? These vintage-inspired looks are making a comeback in modern styling. So you're not just learning history, you're learning techniques that are still relevant today. Moving on to question 2. 3-sectioning is used to measure the proportions of what? The face. Let me break this down for you. When you do 3-sectioning, you're dividing the face into 3 equal parts. This helps you analyze your client's proportions and figure out what hairstyle is going to look absolutely amazing on them. Here's your memory tip. 3 sections for the face you see. Say it a few times, let it sink in. Why does this even matter in real salon work? Because understanding face proportions is how you create those flattering looks that make clients feel incredible. Different face shapes need different approaches, and 3-sectioning is your roadmap to getting it right every single time. Question 3 time. What do clients with short necks need? They need mass and fullness around the neck. Let me explain why this is so important. When you add volume around a short neck, you're creating an optical illusion that makes the neck appear longer and brings balance to the whole look. Your mnemonic for this one: short neck, add more. Short needs more volume. Simple as that. Now let's get practical. How do you actually do this? Use layers to build volume. Add fullness at the nape area and avoid styles that completely expose the neck because that'll just emphasize the shortness. This is the kind of problem solving you'll do in real client consultations, so understanding this concept is super valuable for your actual career.
Honestly, understanding the foundation of these techniques made all the difference. Speaking of foundations, let's talk about brush sizes, because question 6 is all about that.
Right. So here's the deal. A smaller round brush is going to give you a curlier style. It's pretty intuitive when you think about it. Smaller barrel, tighter curl.
Exactly. And then we have question 7, which asks about skip waves. Tyler, do you remember what a skip wave is?
I do. It's actually a combination of flat pin curls and finger waves. It creates this really interesting texture variation.
Yes, it's like mixing 2 techniques to get the best of both worlds. Now, question 16 is one of my favorites because it's all about creating that soft, elegant look. Finger waves with low ridges create soft waves.
Low ridges, soft waves. That's a great way to remember it. And speaking of finger waves, question 21 is super important. What's the first step in designing finger waves?
You've got to plan the direction of your wave pattern. You can't just wing it. You need a game plan before you even start.
Exactly. It's like choreography for hair. Did you know that back in the 1920s and 30s, stylists would spend hours perfecting these patterns?
I did know that, and they didn't have all our modern tools either. Just their fingers, combs, and incredible skill. Okay, let's keep moving. Question 22. A long, slow wave is called a slow-speed texture pattern.
Slow speed texture pattern. That one's pretty straightforward. And then question 24 asks about the hollow part of a finger wave, which is called the recess.
The recess? I always think of it like a little valley between the ridges. And finally, for this segment, question 38. When you're setting flat pin curls, always begin at the closed end.
Always at the closed end. That's crucial for getting the right direction and shape. Grace, these techniques really are the foundation of so many styles, aren't they?
Absolutely. Whether you're doing vintage looks or modern styles, understanding these basics gives you so much creative freedom. All right, should we move on to our next segment?
Let's do it. Okay, next up is one of the most important skills you'll develop: client consultations, specifically face and body analysis. Grace, why do you think this is so crucial?
Because every client is unique. What looks amazing on one person might not be the most flattering on another. It's all about creating balance and making each person feel like their best self.
Perfectly said. So let's start with question 2. 3-sectioning is used to measure face proportions. Here's your mnemonic. 3 sections for the face you see.
I love these mnemonics. They make everything so much easier to remember. Now, question 3 is really important for practical application. Clients with short necks need mass and fullness.
Yes, and here's another mnemonic. Short neck, add more. You want to create the illusion of length by adding volume.
Exactly. I had a client once who always wore her hair super flat and tight, and she had a shorter neck. When we added some volume and height, it completely transformed her whole look. She was so happy.
That's what it's all about. Those transformations are the best part of this job. Now, let's talk about profiles. Question 18 asks about concave profiles.
Right. A concave profile has a dominant protruding forehead and chin, or a small nose. It kind of curves inward in the middle.
Good description. And then question 27 deals with round face shapes. What do they need, Grace? Round face shapes need volume either below the jawline or above the temple to create balance. You're basically trying to elongate the appearance of the face.
Exactly. It's all about creating that visual balance. Question 30 shows an oblong or rectangle face shape, and question 32 lists the 3 profile types: straight, convex, and concave. And question 33 illustrates a concave profile, which we just talked about. Tyler, here's a fun one. Question 37 is about short and sturdy clients.
Oh, yes. Short and sturdy clients need height and volume on top to create better proportions. It's similar to the short neck principle. You're creating vertical lines to balance the overall silhouette.
Exactly. And honestly, understanding these principles is what separates a good stylist from a great one. It's not just about technical skill. It's about really seeing your client and knowing how to enhance their natural beauty.
Beautifully put, Grace. These consultations are where the magic starts before you even pick up your tools.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of tools, should we move to our product know-how segment?
Perfect transition. Let's do it.
All right, welcome to Product Know-How. This is where we talk about the essentials of your craft, the products and tools that make everything possible. Grace, what's your must-have product? Oh, that's tough, but I'd have to say thermal protectant, which actually brings us perfectly to question 4.
Nice. So question 4, thermal protectant is a total game changer. It prepares the hair, protects it from heat damage, conditions it, and adds shine. It's like a multitasking superhero for hair. Right? I never use heat tools without it. Never. It's just not worth the damage. Now, question 5 is about gel, which creates maximum control and support for wet setting. Gel is perfect for styles that really need to hold. Like if you're doing an updo for a wedding or a special event, gel is your best friend. Absolutely. Okay, here's a safety question that's super important. Question 13. How do you protect your client's scalp during curling iron work? With a hard rubber comb, safety first, always. You use it as a barrier between the hot iron and the scalp. Exactly. I actually saw someone get a minor burn once because they skipped this step. It's not worth the risk. Always protect your client. Absolutely. Now, question 14 is about one of my favorite tools, the cushion brush. Grace, why is it so versatile? Oh, I love the cushion brush. It relaxes the set, helps you backbrush, and smooths the surface. It's like 3 tools in one. Exactly. And finally, question 36. A comb is the tool you use to create locks. Pretty straightforward, but important to know.
Definitely, Tyler. Each of these products and tools has such a specific purpose in real salon work. Knowing when to use each one really shows your professionalism. Couldn't agree more. It's not just about having the tools, it's about knowing exactly when and how to use them for the best results. Well said. All right, we've covered a lot so far. Should we take a quick breath before we dive into the rest? Good idea. We've got thermal styling techniques, hair design principles, and more client consultation tips coming up, plus our test-taking tips at the end. But for now, let's pause here. Perfect. When we come back, we'll dive into thermal styling and all those amazing techniques. Stay with us.
Okay, Tyler, I'm super excited about this next segment because thermal styling is where the magic really happens. You know what I mean? Like, this is where we take everything we've learned and actually create those gorgeous, lasting styles. Oh, absolutely. And speaking of lasting styles, here's something I learned the hard way in beauty school. Question 11 on your test asks about cooling time. And trust me, this matters. You've got to let the hair cool completely before you start your finishing techniques. I once got impatient during a practical exam and started brushing out a set too early. Total disaster. Oh no, I bet that taught you patience real quick. So what happened? The curls just fell flat immediately. My instructor was like, "Tyler, what did we just talk about?" But you know what? I never forgot that lesson. Patience really does pay off in thermal setting. That's such a good story though, because it shows why these techniques matter in real life, not just on a test. Okay, so question 15 talks about hair wrapping. Can you break that down for our listeners? Sure. Hair wrapping is this beautiful molding technique where you literally wrap the hair over and around the head. It's based on that classic technique, and when you do it right, it creates this smooth, sleek finish. I love using it for clients who want that polished, sophisticated look. And here's a fun one. Question 17 mentions the palm rolling technique. Did you know this is how you get those super polished, sealed ends on locks? You're literally rolling the ends in your palms to seal them around the lock. It's such a satisfying technique when you nail it. Okay, but let's talk safety for a second. Because question 20 is crucial. How do you test your curling iron heat? And please, nobody say, touch it and see. Oh gosh, no. You bring your hand near the barrel without actually touching it. You should be able to feel the heat radiating off it. Never, ever risk burning yourself or your client. I've seen some scary near misses in the salon, and it's just not worth it. Exactly. Safety first, always. Now, here's some science for you. Question 28. Do you remember what happens to hydrogen bonds when we style hair? Oh yes. They're weakened or broken by water or thermal heat. That's literally how we're able to temporarily reshape the hair. It's pretty cool when you think about the chemistry behind what we do every day. Right? We're basically hair scientists. Okay, 2 more quick thermal tips. Question 29. When you're molding, you always begin at the open end of the oblong. And question 34 warns us about overdirection in finger waving. That happens when you pinch or push the ridge too hard. Keep your touch gentle and controlled. These techniques really are what separate the okay stylists from the truly great ones. You can tell when someone has mastered these fundamentals.
All right, so now let's shift gears and talk about something I absolutely love: hair design principles. This is where the artistic side really comes out. Yes, this is where you get to be creative and really express yourself. So Tyler, question 8 asks about activated surface texture. What can it be? It can be wavy, curly, or crimped, but here's the trick answer. It cannot be straight. Straight hair is not considered activated surface texture. I remember this caught me off guard on a practice test once. Oh, that's definitely one of those tricky questions. Okay, here's a quick one. Question 9. What does a half circle do? A half circle moves hair in one direction. Simple, but super important when you're planning out a style. And question 12 talks about circle wraps. These are distributed from a single point of origin, which creates that really beautiful uniform curl pattern radiating out from one spot. I love doing circle wraps. They're so elegant. Now, question 25 gives us a really important definition. What is hair design? Hair design is a temporary change in form, texture, and direction. I love that definition because it reminds us that what we do is temporary art. Every style is unique to that moment and that client. That's beautiful, Grace. Okay, here's a practical tip from question 26. If you want a loose curl pattern and you're working with longer lengths in a 2-strand double twist, what do you need? You need large sections. Bigger sections equal looser curls. It's one of those things that seems obvious once you know it, but it's easy to forget when you're first learning. And let's end this segment with something poetic. Question 39 defines finger waving as the art of shaping and defining hair in graceful waves. I mean, how beautiful is that? It really is an art form. Hair design combines technical skill with artistic vision. And honestly, that's what makes this career so creative and rewarding. You're not just following a formula, you're creating something beautiful and unique every single time.
Okay, Grace, we're heading into our final segment, and this one might be the most important of all, client consultation. Because you know what? You can have all the technical skills in the world, but if you can't connect with your client and understand what they need, you're missing the whole point. Preach. Understanding your client is absolutely everything. So let's start with question 10. What are some special considerations for proportions? Great question. You need to consider eyeglasses, protruding ears, and receding hairlines. But here's the trick. Shampoo fragrance is not a proportion consideration. I know that sounds obvious, but it's one of those test questions designed to make sure you're paying attention. I love those trick questions because they really make you think. Okay, so question 19 talks about clients with a casual clothing style. What do they typically prefer? They want comfortable, low-maintenance looks. Think about it. If someone shows up to your chair in jeans and a t-shirt every time, they're probably not looking for a high-maintenance style that requires an hour of styling every morning. You've got to read those cues. That's such good advice, and it leads perfectly into question 23. What does temporary hair design provide for clients? It provides styling options, flexibility, and freedom to change. And here's what it's not about: ongoing commitment. Some clients love being able to switch up their look without permanent changes, and that's totally valid. Absolutely. Now, question 31 is about hair color choices. When you're helping a client choose a color, what should you emphasize? You want to emphasize their eye color and natural skin tone to make them look radiant. It's not about making the color last longer. It's about making them look and feel amazing. I had this client once with these gorgeous green eyes, and we chose a color that just made them pop. She literally teared up when she saw herself in the mirror. Oh my gosh, those moments are why we do this. Okay, last question in this section, 35. Tell us about clients with a gamine clothing style. These clients have an eye for detail. They typically prefer short hair, small jewelry, and the latest looks. They're trend conscious, and they want to be on the cutting edge of style. When you recognize this, you can really tailor your consultation to what they're looking for.
Learning to read your clients and create those personalized consultations. That's what builds a loyal clientele. People come back to stylists who really get them, you know? Well, Grace, we've covered a lot of ground today. I think our listeners are going to feel so much more prepared for this test. I hope so. Let's do a quick recap of those key mnemonics we talked about earlier in the episode. Remember, ridge equals row, 3 sections for the face you see, and short neck, add more. Those little memory tricks can really save you when you're staring at a test question and your mind goes blank. So true. And speaking of test day, let me give you some practical test-taking tips. First, read each question carefully. I know it sounds basic, but when you're nervous, it's easy to skim and miss important details. Great advice. And here's another one. Eliminate the obviously wrong answers first. Sometimes you can narrow it down to 2 choices just by getting rid of the ones that don't make sense. Exactly. And most importantly, trust your training. You've studied hard, you know your stuff, and you're absolutely going to rock this test. You know what I love to remind students? Every great hairstylist started exactly where you are right now. Every single one of us has sat in that testing chair feeling nervous. But you've got the knowledge, you've got the passion, and now you've got the confidence. Couldn't have said it better myself, so go show that test what you're made of, future hairstyling superstar. We believe in you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Good luck on your test, and remember, you've got this.
Hey there, welcome to your Ultimate Hairstyling Test Study Guide podcast. I'm Tyler. Let's start with curl techniques and wave patterns. First up, question 1. What's a ridge curl? It's one oblong shape followed by a row of pin curls. Here's your mnemonic. Ridge equals row. Think vintage Hollywood glamour. Question 6 asks about brush sizes. And here's the deal. A smaller round brush is going to give you a curlier style. Makes sense, right? Now question 7. A skip wave is actually a combination of flat pin curls and finger waves. Question 16 tells us that finger waves with low ridges create soft waves, perfect for that elegant look. For question 21, remember that the first step in designing finger waves is to plan the direction of your wave pattern. You've got to have a game plan. Question 22. A long slow wave is called a slow speed texture pattern. Question 24. The hollow part of a finger wave is called the recess. And finally, question 38. When you're setting flat pin curls, always begin at the closed end. These techniques are the foundation of so many classic and modern styles you'll create in the salon. Now let's talk about face and body analysis, because this is crucial for client consultations. Question 2. 3-sectioning is used to measure face proportions. Here's your mnemonic: 3 sections for the face you see. Question 3 is important. Clients with short necks need mass and fullness. Remember, short neck? Add more. Question 18. A concave profile has a dominant protruding forehead and chin, or a small nose. Question 27. Round face shapes need volume either below the jawline or above the temple to create balance. Question 30 shows an oblong or rectangle face shape. Question 32 lists the profile types: straight, convex, and concave. Question 33 illustrates a concave profile. And question 37, short and sturdy clients need height and volume on top to create better proportions. Understanding these principles helps you create flattering looks that make your clients feel amazing. Let's move on to products and tools, the essentials of your craft. Question 4. Thermal protectant is a game changer. It prepares the hair, protects it from heat damage, conditions it, and adds shine. Question 5. Gel creates maximum control and support for wet setting, perfect for styles that need to hold. Question 13. Protect your client's scalp during curling iron work with a hard rubber comb. Safety first. Question 14. The cushion brush is super versatile. It relaxes the set, helps you back brush, and smooths the surface. Question 36. A comb is the tool you use to create locks. Each of these products and tools has a specific purpose in real salon work, and knowing when to use each one shows your professionalism. Time for thermal styling techniques. Question 11. Always allow the hair to cool before applying finishing techniques in thermal setting. Patience pays off. Question 15. Hair wrapping is a molding technique based on wrapping the hair over the head. Question 17. The palm rolling technique seals the ends around a lock for a polished finish. Question 20, and this is a safety tip. Test your curling iron heat by bringing your hand near the barrel without touching it. Never risk burning yourself or your client. Question 28. Hydrogen bonds are weakened or broken by water or thermal heat, which is how we temporarily reshape hair. Question 29. Molding begins at the open end of the oblong. And question 34. Over-direction in finger waving is caused by pinching or pushing the ridge, so keep your touch gentle and controlled. These techniques are what separate okay stylists from great ones. Let's explore hair design principles, the artistic side of what you do. Question 8. Activated surface texture can be wavy, curly, or crimped, but not straight. Question 9. A half circle moves hair in one direction. Question 12. A circle wrap is distributed from a single point of origin. Question 25 defines hair design as a temporary change in form, texture, and direction. Question 26. You need large sections for a loose curl pattern and longer lengths in a 2-strand double twist. And question 39 gives us a beautiful definition. Finger waving is the art of shaping and defining hair in graceful waves. Hair design combines technical skill with artistic vision, and that's what makes this career so creative and rewarding. Finally, let's talk about client consultation, because understanding your client is everything. Question 10. Special considerations for proportions include eyeglasses, protruding ears, and receding hairline. Notice that shampoo fragrance is not a proportion consideration. Question 19. Clients with a casual clothing style prefer comfortable, low-maintenance looks. Question 23. Temporary hair design provides styling options, flexibility, and freedom to change. It's not about ongoing commitment. Question 31. When choosing hair color, emphasize the client's eye color and natural skin tone to make them look radiant. It's not about making the color last longer. Question 35. Clients with a gamine clothing style have an eye for detail, prefer short hair, small jewelry, and the latest looks. Learning to read your clients and create personalized consultations is what builds a loyal clientele. All right, you made it through all the material. Let's recap those key mnemonics. Ridge equals row, 3 sections for the face, you see, and short neck? Add more. Here are some test-taking tips. Read each question carefully, eliminate the obviously wrong answers first, and trust your training. You've studied hard, you know your stuff, and you're absolutely going to rock this test. Remember, every great hairstylist started exactly where you are right now. You've got the knowledge, you've got the passion, and now you've got the confidence. Go show that test what you're made of, future hairstyling superstar.